Hey y'all, this is Church from Church's Intake. We're going to get into another reading of his word. We're still going on with witchcraft. It's really real out here, It's like living in a Truman Show, It's more like a Truman Show. Like when you start to find out, you awaken and you're trying to better yourself. And then God starts to show you and tell you about people, friends, cousins, family, brother, sister, whoever, work colleagues, all these different people that's been trying to come up against you, and all you've been trying to be is a good person and trying to live your life. And these people are the ones that's hindering you from progressing and making the moves, without fault, and keep on progressing in life. So we about to talk about that and get into the reading of his word. Okay? So we're going to be back in the book of wisdom. We're still going on. Wisdom is a great book. Chapter 5, wisdom, and then we're going to talk and discuss, the chapter. Okay? And this is about us chosen ones, and, we have to fight the good fight of faith. We have to be bold and courageous. We have to expose this evil darkness that's trying to take over this world that we live in today. This is what we're here to do. We're here to change the atmosphere. We're here to change the demonic forces and bring it back to righteousness so that we can live in peace. Then the righteous man will stand in great boldness before the faces of those who afflicted him, and those who make his labors of no account. When they see him, they will be trembled with terrible fear, and will be amazed at the marvel of salvation. They will speak amongst themselves, converting, and for distress of spirit they will groan. This was he whom we used to hold in derision as a allegory of reproach. We fools considered his life madness and his end without honor. How was he counted among sons of God? How is his lot amongst saints? Truly, we went astray from the way of truth. The light of righteousness did not shine for us. The sun did not rise for us. We took our fill of the path of lawlessness and destruction. We traveled through trackless deserts, but we did not know the Lord's way. What did our arrogance profit us? What good have riches and boasting brought us? Those things all pass away as a shadow, like a message that runs by, like a ship passing through the valley water, which when it has gone by, there is no trace to be found, no path of its nil in the bellows. Or it is like when a bird flies through the air and no evidence of it passes is found. But the light wind lashed with the stroke of its pinions, and torn apart with the violent rush of the moving wings is passed through. Afterward, no sign of its coming remains. Or it is like when an arrow is shot at a mark, and the parted air closes up again immediately, so that men do not know where it passed through. So we also, as soon as we were born, cease to be, and we have no signs of virtue to show, but we were utterly consumed in our wickedness, because the hope of the ungodly man is like chaff carried by the wind, and as form vanishing before the tempest, and it is scattered like smoke by the wind, and passes by the remnants of its guests, that waits but a day. But the righteous live forever. Their reward is in the Lord, and their care for them with the Most High. Therefore they will receive the crown of royal dignity, and the diadem of the beauty of the Lord's hand, because he will cover them with his right hand, and he will shield them with his arm. He will take his jealousy as complete armor, and will make the whole creation his weapons to punish his enemies. He will put on righteousness as a breastplate, and will wear impartial judgment, in perpetual judgment as a helmet. He will take holiness as an invisible shield. He will sharpen stern wrath for a sword. The world will go with him to fight against his fringent enemies. Shafts of light will fly with the true aim. They will leap to the mark of the clouds as from a well-drawn bow. Hailstones full of wrath will be hurled from an engine of war. The water of the sea will be angered against them. The rivers will sternly overwhelm them. The mighty blast will encounter them. It will winnow them away like a tempest. So lawlessness will make all the land desolate. Their undoing will overturn the thrones of princes. God bless the reading of his word. So, as I was saying, we are the ones, children of God. We have to be bold. We have to stand up to this evilness. And if this evilness coming from your family, if it's coming from your friends, if it's coming from work friends, colleagues, bosses, or whoever, you have to speak out, and we have to stand together, and we have to stop like this Jezebel spirit that's taking over, making people having cold hearts. Like, this is what God was talking about in the Bible about, hearts going cold, because you're starting to provoke, especially if you're an empath or you're a person that's a kind-hearted person, you provoke these people that are not like you to want to do things towards you because of jealousy and envy. So what I was saying is, like, this to me is like the Truman Show, because I know a lot of people, and I used to call a lot of these people friends, colleague friends, family members. I used to call them, family members, and your family aren't your true family. Your true family is your wife and the kids that you bear. I will sternly keep on talking about that. You have to build your family, and the people that you grew up with, family members, relatives, you don't really know them like that. It's not like you once you grow up and start your own, like, you don't really know what a lot of these people are doing. So a lot of these people in my life, let's go, I'll tell you about an experience. A lot of these people that's in my life, they'd be like, oh, come to this party, I invited you to this, that, and the third. But even as a young lad, I used to tell people that I went to school with all the time. Like, I used to have to go up against teachers. I used to have to go up against other supposed friends. And I would let them know, like, yo, I got a relationship with God. Like, But when you have a relationship with God, it's not like you're the most perfect person. That's not what God wants you to be. You know what I mean? Because you're going to sin daily, and it's going to be different sins. You're going to overcome some sins, and then you're going to have to work on sins that you've been working on. You're going to overcome them, and then there's going to be new things that, you know what I mean, that you're going to have to get rid of. Like, you might have, jealousy in you a little bit, and you don't know it, but a specific person can pull that out of you. That's why God wants you to stay in prayer and getting downloads and growing with him, so he can take and show you the things that you need to change in your life. Like, some people have childhood traumas. I say a lot of people, they didn't get love from their parents or from a significant other, that they thought that love that they wasn't getting from somewhere else, they thought that person was going to give them that love. But you got to understand that the devil will always put, before they put the right person in your way, the devil will always have a doppelganger, you know what I mean? Someone to try to destroy you and take you away from, that person that you thought was supposed to be your person. Now, technically, some of us did possibly marry the wrong person. That's why there's a high divorce rate. But to overcome something like that, you have to build with God. Like, you have to put your marriage with God. So what I was saying about the Truman Show is, like, I grew up with a lot of different folks. I'm gonna call them folks now because that's what they are. They're just folks. And they would act like they was your friends, people I went to high school with, used to be at their house all the time and stuff like that. And then when I started really growing with God, God was like, nah, these people is all up against you. Now, mind you, a lot of these people knew, like, even when I was younger, I ain't start listening to like hardcore rap and stuff until I was like, say, like 10th grade, 11th grade in high school. I used to listen to like rap music, but it was more like party rap. Like, I used to listen to like party music, not even always rap. I used to listen to a lot of R&B and stuff. But those friends, when I got in high school and things, they was more into like, this low vibrational, cussing all throughout the whole, the songs and such. So, at first, because I already knew what it was, like, my spirit didn't even like it like that. I had to tune myself into liking that, which was weird for me at first, because I ain't even cuss a lot like that. I cussed. I'm not going to lie and say I was perfect. I did cuss, but I ain't cuss like a sailor. I ain't had that type of cussing in me. I ain't had that type of, that aggression. It was like the people that I was surrounded with, and more so, it was like I was always surrounded by narcissistic people. Mind you, I'm an empath, but I'm not the typical empath that's just going to take you talking smack to me or disrespecting me like that. Like, when I was a kid, I used to fight a lot. Like, I used to fight. Now, a lot of these kids now know I was fighting a lot of narcs, but they thought probably I was a narc like them. Because I was surrounded with these folks, and I was always surrounded with these folks, and these folks was always, acting like we was friends, but we had similar things. Like, I had anger problems, you know what I mean? So that was similar to like kind of what they was. I was a fighter. I used to fight. I used to be ready. Let's get this. Let's get it. And then I had to learn, like, to pull back. But also in school, like, I ain't like when people bullied another person neither. Like, I would even tell my friends off jump, like, nah, we ain't doing that. That person couldn't beat a fly, so why we even gonna mess with them like that? Now, some of them didn't like how I was coming sometimes, but they respected the fact, like, dog, I'll fight you for that. You know what I mean? And they'd be like, nah, D, you on some other, just chill, we cool, and we just playing, blah, 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 blah. Like, nah, we don't play like that. So I always had these people around me. What I didn't know, but I know now, the Truman Show, you know what I mean? What I didn't know, that I had a lot of these people in my life that ganged up against me to try to come and attack me in secret. Now, they was ganging up with my so-called family members, which I told plenty of times, my family is a whole bunch of witches and warlocks. They demons to me, you know what I'm saying? Because they've been subdued and subjected, and they're vessels for the devil's minions to work in them. And then they used, like my brother and my sister-in-law and even my ex helped. When you got a whole bunch of people that's against you, they don't have to like each other, but they teaming up to come against you to get this one thing, to like take out this supposed good person or this child of God. Like, are we going to show him, or we going to make them, bow down to us? And that would never happen. Like, it's it doesn't make sense, but it's true. And it's like when you have a relationship with God, you take all of that non-making sense things out of it, and then you start building in spirit, and then you start understanding the spirit, and you start understanding energies, like people giving you evil eyes. God be like, yo, just watch, just look. And I started learning this, he started building me to be on point for a lot of different things and a lot of different people. People think that they be getting over on you, but you be knowing the whole scheme. Like all the people that I grew up with was on the scheme of like not letting me know, like, yo, they all been after like, money. But they don't understand it, that God used that to show who they really was and what they would do for a little piece of change. You know what I mean? And out here doing wicked, evil things. Like I said, all you got to do is follow the money, and you can find out, did they really make that? How did they get that? And what type of time they on? Like, when I seen like a whole bunch of my family members is still cool with my ex and trying to get me back with my ex, that was a true red flag for me. Like, nah, that ain't ever gonna pop. And then when I met my wife, they ain't like my wife. You know what I mean? Side-eyeing, or my wife would tell me like, yo, I reached out to such and such. And then I would kind of like look at it like, maybe da-da-da-da, you much younger and stuff like that. But then God started showing me things. And that's why I had to part ways with my family and these so-called friends of mine and the community that I used to go to all the time, because all of them was against me. And it's all for the love of money and greed, and to try to see a child of God go down. Now, they don't know is God's going to make them all pay, like it says in the word, for coming up against one of his children. Now, they might have thought that they had relationships with God. But obviously, if you truly had a relationship with God, you wouldn't be on demon time. Let's say that. You wouldn't be on demon time. You wouldn't be trying to cause havoc on another child of God, or wanting them to be dead, or actually poisoning their food. Yeah, my ex poisoning my food, my mom and them poisoning my food and drinks, thinking like, we ain't gonna die, dog. We like baby's kids. We don't die, we multiply, you feel me? Just like Paul took the poisonous serpent. He didn't know it was a poisonous serpent. Just like I ain't know when I used to eat y'all food and such until God told me not to play with y'all. And then whatever happened between me and my ex, we separated and all. He didn't tell me, like, yo, these people, this, that, and the third. He told me, yo, separate from them. They did you wrong. I'm going to explain it to you. But I don't want to just bum rush you and bombard you with all of this information when I don't want to hurt you. Like, I need them to get this judgment, because they've been coming at you, trying to play on your top like you are Truman, thinking that you blind. But the only thing that it was I was on autopilot until God released me to shine. And when he released me to shine, all of these people thought I am a kind-hearted, good person. But I'm not just kind-hearted and good. I want judgment, and I want righteousness. And I want justice for whoever is wronging the people of God. And I'm here to do my job for God. I can care less who gets exposed. I can care less who goes to jail. But guess what? If that's your place to be, then you're going to be there. And if it needs to be my mama, my brothers, my ex, the whole community that I grew up with, freaking friends, family, cousins, I don't care who you are. You're not more than God to me. And you can't do nothing to me but God. You know what I'm saying? So I used to ask for these people to change and stuff. You know what I mean? I used to pray for them before God had, made me go through what I had to go through to build myself up. And as I'm building myself up, I'm finding out, I'm trying to build myself to be away from, the system. Did that. I try to build myself up to be a better husband. I did that. To be a better father, I'm doing that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like all these things that I'm trying to better myself in, and then God makes you reflect on the past. So it's like past things that happened in my life. Like I used to be with my ex, right? And one thing that happened was when we was going through, money was a little tight and everything, right? So we was still paying the bills. Mind you, we got all call. I was paying the bills, and then I had her in charge of an electrical bill. This just put me on point with it to let me know what it is. So she was supposed to pay the electrical bill. She wasn't paying the electrical bill for like 6 months. I'm thinking this chick paying the electrical bill for our apartment. We just had a baby, right? Thinking she paying the electrical bill. She ain't using the money to pay no electrical bill, right? So then when the electric company come around, like, yo, you owe like $1,800. You got to cut the lights off. I'm tight. I'm mad. I'm ready to end our relationship right then and there. Like, yo, how you trying to play me like a fool? You ain't paid this, that, and the third. Oh, I forgot, and da 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 da. Nah, you ain't forget. You was trying to cause a demise. I know this now. That's why you got to go back to your past. You got to remember all the things that was done to you back then, because it's going to help you moving forward and you're new, right? So from then on, I called up the electric company, made an agreement to, pay this bill or whatever. By the end of that, the end of the year, we had to move, right? And she was like, oh, well, your mama's got a spot. Why don't we just move over there? Not thinking, I'm like, I don't want to move over there. Half an empty house, I mean, it's one of those row houses, like two sides, right? So the other side was empty. My brother and them used to live over there before they bought their house, right? So I get in there and I'm like, I don't really want to, but then I ended up doing it, right? So mind you, we live in there for about a year until my daughter's her first birthday. Me and my ex had this big old argument about, oh, you don't love me, da 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 da. I don't see the love that you show me. I'm like, listen, if I love you, I love you. If I care for you, I care for you. But the love I got for my kid and the love I got for you is totally different. So she'd be like, oh, I know you love your daughter, but you don't love me. So I'm like, whatever. You know what I mean? Think how you want to think. I even got engaged to her. Luckily, I never got married with her. I'm so glad about that. God saved me from that. Right? So, boom, bop, bang. Week go by. After the birthday party, we get into this big old fight. She like, I'm leaving you. And I'm like, well, you can leave, but, I'm going to be in my kid's life. You ain't taking my kid away from me. This, that, and the third. So she tried to put up, like, all this stuff. She called the cops on me. You know what I mean? She you know what I mean? It took me about almost 2 months before I had to see my kid. Now, mind you, she was probably thinking that I was stressing and concerned about her. I could have cared less about her. I had so much love in my heart for my children. Only concern was my kid. I didn't want nothing to do with her completely after that. I didn't even want to be with her after that. But God was like, you know what I mean? So he was like, maybe you could try to make it. And then God told me I could be with her, or I don't have to be with her. I don't have to marry this woman. I ain't get married to her. So it's nothing to it. Because I believe in, once you get married, kind of like, but everybody got to take that up with God on their own. But for me, that's how I moved. So I'm glad I never got married, because then you know, I'd be divorced, and then I probably wouldn't want to get married again, because that's how I move with God. So the whole thing was, God was like, you could try to make this work, or you can move on now. But when she had called the cops and everything, it just dawned on me with so many red flags. Like, I never touched a girl a day in my life. Why would I want to be with somebody that can try to deceive me and others like that, and think I'm going to want to live the rest of my life like that? Like, you can change on me any old time. Like, we ain't doing none of that. So I ended up, you know, taking her back for a few months, and then I was just like, yo, this isn't going to work out. We're not going to work out, because I couldn't let it go. You know what I mean? Like, when you did me wrong like that, as my significant other, supposedly, I'm not the one. Like, I don't need to chase you down. Like, I can get a girl. Like, it ain't no problem about that. I just need to get the right girl, and you ain't the right one. You was never the right one. So once that had came to me, I know a whole bunch of these supposed friends and everything was looking at me. I was down, because I was down for my kid. I ain't seen my kid in almost 2 months. So, you know, they was more happy. Oh, let's go party. And liking to seeing you down. Like, these enemies, these frenemies like to see you down, causing havoc. You know what I mean? You got to understand this too. You know, when you start parting ways from these evil, diabolical friends and foes, you know, work colleagues or whatever, they will try to do anything. And a lot of people out here try to reuse women that you used to be with. You know what I mean? Like, you could break up with a girl, your mans know that you was with that girl or whatever, but his whole movement is to try to get your old thing and be like, oh, well, y'all broke up, y'all, oh, we you know what I mean? Like, y'all ain't together, so what's the big deal? The big deal is, I thought you was my homie. I thought you was my friend. I thought you was my cousin. I thought you was family. Nah, fam. There's so many chicks out here. Why you need to reuse something that I had? But I didn't care. I wouldn't care if they reused any of my old exes, because they're my exes for a reason. I figured them out. I don't want them in my life. You can have that. And if anybody, I will always test a woman to friends or foe or family or foes or whoever, because I need to know, if I leave you alone, ain't no sauce, ain't no communications. You know what I mean? And I shouldn't have to tell you these things. You should be woman enough to have boundaries of your own. And that's going to let you know what type of woman you're dealing with or not. Because some of these women be hurt. Like, I'd be like, yo, all your exes be feeling some type of way about you. And it's like, yo, I thought I parted ways with these people graciously. Like, yo, you broke up with me, or, you know, it was mutual when we separated or whatever. And it's like, nah, they still want you gone. They don't want you here. You know what I mean? They want you to be poor, broke, out on the curb and everything. And you're like, where they do that at? Like, what kind of people are these type of folk? And it's like, I grew up with y'all. Y'all like that? Who are y'all? Y'all demonoids. So now you know that the spirit that was in them, and it was like embedded in them, right? It was desolate. And then when you started to change, you woke up their demons. And now it's like, when they see you, you more so mirror them. They see what they should be like, or how they should act. And then they see it in you, and they want to tear you down. Like, oh, you don't like orgies and such, so let me cast a spell, some sex magic stuff, so you can be like me and not get no money for doing orgies or such. You know what I mean? You're going to be just like me, if not worse. You know what I mean? You're going to get a sexually transmitted disease. And these people be doing this wicked, stupid stuff. Now, mind you, some of this stuff works on people that are naive. That's why God says, study to show thyself approval unto him. Also approval unto yourself, to know what type of wickedness or what type of schemes that people are using to try to, you know, infiltrate in your life. Because people have to understand, you are more spirit than you are a physical being. Everybody that doesn't have no spirituality inside of them, They don't really rationalize that you're more spirit than you are flesh. And once you are in tune with the spirit, your flesh could tell me whatever, I love you. But if I'm in tune with my spirit, I can see through your flesh, and I can justify if it's pure or not. All I gotta do is talk to you, see you, look at you. I can feel your presence. I can see your eyes. I can see it on you. People don't realize we see it on them. And then you'll be like, dang, man, I ain't know you was that much of a hater. Like, I showed y'all all nothing but love. I used to throw parties for all of y'all. And all of y'all on some demon time? All of y'all want to try to get a piece of this gold pot? But when God uses the gold pot, like money, for instance, inheritances, you know what I'm saying, a trust fund, or all of these different types of things, just know that as I was getting tested in those situations to obtain this, y'all was getting tested to supposedly not take that bait, because all it was bait. And now God used his chosen to find out how you really are. He judges the heart posture. And a lot of y'all are proud, envious, jealous, hateful people. And you guys should really repent, because when you're building up a whole bunch of evil, right? The evil, or when you're casting these spells too, just to let y'all know, when y'all casting these spells and you're building up all these diabolical schemes, if they try to go into fruition, or if you try to manifest these things, or however, it's all accounted for. And when you do conjure up demons and such, like some of us really do fight and slay demons, like it's no cap. Those demons do have to go finish the job that you sent them to do, or they're going to come back to you. And that's what those demons are doing that was sent to me. They're back to sender, because I'm not on demon time. I'm not a low vibrational person. And y'all could think I'm doing witchcraft or whatever, but we leave it in God's hands. God is the war man. He's the man of war. God loves war. I told y'all, I serve y'all up, and God finishes y'all. He slays you straight down, puts you back in your spot. Some of you tough guys think y'all tough and all arrogant and everything. He squashes all of that, because no one's supposed to be above another. And you're not supposed to use, if you do have gifts, God be taking them away too. Y'all know y'all gifts is gone. They gone, because you was using them in evil ways. And God gives certain people gifts to see how they're going to move. With great power comes great responsibilities. I know y'all hear it in the movies, but it's true. And y'all could have thought I was like goofy. Y'all could have thought I ain't know nothing. Y'all could think, however, you can still think I'm a Truman and think I don't know who or what y'all did. But I do. It's just the time when it comes to the light, I don't have to say nothing. I just have to watch God move, and he's moving. And y'all seeing this. And everyone's going to see. And I'm trying to tell these other people out here in the world, y'all need to do exactly what I'm doing. There's a whole bunch of people that might be trying to come up against you. You might think they have power, but they don't. They have power only if you was to give them your power. You need to build a relationship with God and get your power back. These demons are cowards. And when you living in a high vibrational atmosphere, they can't puncture nothing. They want you to be in fear. They want you to be low vibing, so their stuff, their crap that they're conjuring up, or going to a voodoo witch doctor, or going to a practitioner, could work. But on some people that's ready for the smoke, Y'all think y'all going to the practitioner? They ain't got nothing on us. We got the real smoke out here. And you getting a lot of people hurt by doing this wicked, evil stuff. And people believe in y'all stupidity and teaming up. Because y'all need a team. Don't you get it? You need a team to take down one person. And y'all thought you knew the outcome. But God only shows you the ending of a person. He doesn't show you nothing about the meat and potatoes, what the person had to go through, how he gonna get to the end. But y'all can see the end until y'all can't see no more. And then God has righteous judgment, which could be physical in this 3D, when y'all be capsulating, oh, I'm going to take him out, I'm going to shoot up the house, I'm going to body. No, you not. You're going to get the cops called on you. I'm going to stab. No, you not. You're going to get the cops. You're going to be locked up for some years, fam. You know what I'm saying? And then you can go in the spiritual realm. And then God handles y'all up in spiritual court. And that's not a nice outcome either. Because now you got to deal with the demons. You got to deal with sicknesses. You got to deal with sicknesses in your family, which I feel sorry for y'all kids, man. Like, I truly do, because there's kids are supposed to be innocent until you guys start trying to show them how to do wickedness. Do not think that God doesn't punish your whole lineage, because he does. And if you guys karmics out there is practicing wickedness in front of your kids and trying to train them and teach them how to do these things, you're killing your kids. And y'all should be punished just because of that. Because those kids are innocent. They don't know no better but what you telling them and showing them and teaching them. Because you want your family, what y'all used to be doing, practicing all these evil things, to keep on going in the family generations after generations. But it's over now. We taking that. Y'all ain't gonna have no power. Y'all ain't gonna be able to do no witchcraft. Y'all ain't gonna be able to do no going to the practitioners. It's gonna be judgment from now on for all of that. Because God ain't playing no more. It's over for all of that. All that behind the scenes stuff coming to the light. So I'm gonna leave that one there. Take care. God bless. Like and subscribe. This is Church from Church's Intake.